My name is Selena Carter. I'm 30 years old. Last Thursday, I sat alone in my office in Seattle listening to 43 voicemails from relatives I hadn't spoken to in 7 years. Not a single person said, "We're sorry." Every message repeated the same desperate words, "Please help us." 7 years earlier, I walked out of my mother's house carrying one suitcase, $200 in cash, and the clothes I was wearing. After I left, my family told everyone in our hometown that I was unstable. They acted concerned, but the truth was simple: they were relieved I was gone. And they probably would have stayed relieved if my sister hadn't searched my name online last month. Before I tell you what happened next, take a moment to like and subscribe if stories like this speak to you. And tell me where you're watching from tonight. Now let me take you back to Thanksgiving 2019, the night my entire family finally broke me. Willow Creek, Indiana. One of those tiny towns where everyone knows your business before you even hear it yourself. From the outside, Thanksgiving at the Carter house always looked perfect. My mother brought out expensive dishes nobody was allowed to touch the rest of the year. 15 relatives crowded around the dining table while my father poured wine and everyone talked over each other. I was 23 years old. I worked 2 jobs, waiting tables at Bellucci's and answering phones at a real estate office downtown. I saved every dollar I could. My older sister Vanessa had recently received a promotion at her insurance company. Same paycheck, bigger title. My mother stood proudly at the head of the table and lifted her wine glass. To Vanessa, she announced proudly, "Our family's success story." Everyone smiled. Everyone applauded. I raised my glass too. Nobody asked about my life. Nobody cared about my future. In my own family, I felt invisible. But that night, I had come with one important question. After dessert, when the room finally became quieter, I looked at my mother carefully. "Mom, is there anything left in Grandma Eleanor's college fund?" The room instantly froze. Not normal silence. The dangerous kind. My mother slowly placed down her coffee cup and glanced around the table before smiling sweetly. "This is exactly what I've been dealing with," she sighed dramatically. "She's been acting irrational for months." My stomach tightened. Aunt Linda squeezed my hand gently. "Sweetheart, your mother only wants what's best for you." I didn't respond. I quietly carried plates into the kitchen and began washing dishes because that had always been my role in the family. They celebrated. I cleaned. While the water ran, I overheard my mother whispering to Aunt Carol in the dining room. "Eleanor's fund paid for Vanessa's sorority fees and her car," she whispered. "Selena didn't really need it. She was never going anywhere anyway." I froze. Grandma Eleanor had personally promised me that money before she died. $12,000. I remembered sitting at her kitchen table while she held my hands and told me, "This is for your future. Nobody else can touch it." Someone touched it. I walked back into the dining room. "That money belonged to me," I said firmly. My mother barely blinked. "You're being dramatic again." "I'm talking about money Grandma left specifically for me." "You always make everything about money." Then she said something that stopped me cold. "You sound exactly like your grandmother." The way she said Grandma Eleanor's name sounded hateful. Like she despised her. 10 minutes later, my mother gathered everyone into the living room. I already knew what was about to happen. She stood in the middle of the room like an actress on stage. "I tried keeping this private," she announced sadly. "But Selena hasn't been mentally well lately. She's been having episodes." I looked at my father. He stared silently at the floor. I looked at my younger brother Tyler. He nodded along with my mother. I looked at Vanessa. She never even lifted her eyes from her phone. 15 relatives sat there. Not one person defended me. I walked upstairs calmly, packed one suitcase, my winter jacket, $200 from my restaurant tips, and a small wooden box Grandma Eleanor had left me years earlier. I had never opened it before because opening it meant accepting she was truly gone. I carried my suitcase downstairs. My mother shouted after me, "If you walk out that door, don't come back." I closed the door quietly behind me because deep down, I already knew I never would. Snow covered Willow Creek as I walked to the bus station. I bought the farthest ticket I could afford. Seattle, Washington. The ride took nearly 2 days. I barely slept. The entire trip, I held Grandma Eleanor's wooden box on my lap while America passed by outside the window, highways, mountains, empty towns, rainstorms. Somewhere outside Nebraska, an older woman sitting beside me offered me half her sandwich after noticing I'd been crying. She never asked questions. She simply handed me a napkin. Sometimes strangers show more kindness in 10 seconds than family gives in 20 years. Seattle greeted me with cold rain and gray skies. My first night was spent in a women's shelter. After that, a tiny hostel that smelled strongly of bleach. I had no friends. No family. No credit. No backup plan. Only determination. Within 2 weeks, I found work as a receptionist at a small consulting company called Mason & Reed. Tiny office. 8 employees. Old building. I answered phones and sorted paperwork. It wasn't glamorous, but it was survival. 3 weeks later, I checked Facebook for the last time. My mother had posted in the family group, "Please pray for Selena. She's struggling right now. We only hope she's safe." People flooded the comments with sympathy. Tyler commented first. "She's always been dramatic." 46 people liked his comment. I deleted Facebook that night. Nobody warns you what cutting off family truly costs. No emergency contact. No birthday phone calls. No holiday cards. No one checking on you when you're sick. And the hardest part? Knowing people back home are telling stories about you while you stay silent. For years, I became the family ghost. The tragic story my mother repeated at church. But distance gave me something unexpected too. Peace. One morning in Seattle, I realized something strange was missing. My mother's voice inside my head. The constant reminder that I wasn't good enough. For the first time in my life, it was quiet. At work, my boss Margaret Reed noticed me quickly. During my first week, I reorganized years of client files nobody had touched in ages. Nobody asked me to. I just needed structure. Margaret walked over to my desk. "You fixed all this in 4 days?" I nodded. She smiled and pulled up a chair. "Tell me what else in this office is broken." While I rebuilt my life in Seattle, my family kept building their own version of me back in Indiana. Years later, I learned the truth. My mother told people I was living in rehab. My father claimed they prayed for me every night. Tyler posted cryptic messages online about selfish relatives. Vanessa moved into my old apartment and sold most of my furniture. For 7 years, they treated me like a cautionary tale. Meanwhile, I survived. Then I slowly succeeded. At Mason & Reed, I became project coordinator within 6 months. Margaret trusted me with a small city garden project, and I completed it ahead of schedule while saving the client thousands of dollars. After that, she trusted me with bigger responsibilities. I enrolled in online business courses at Washington State University. Work all day. Study all night. Cheap food. Second-hand clothes. No dramatic movie montage. Just relentless work. I didn't want revenge. I simply never wanted to feel powerless again. By year 3, I graduated quietly without family, applause, or celebration. I printed my diploma myself and hung it in my office. The next morning, Margaret knocked on my office door. "How does project director sound?" she asked. The company had grown. So had I. That same year, I became friends with Jenna Parker, one of the funniest people I'd ever met. One night while finishing a deadline together, she asked why I never talked about family. So I finally told someone everything. Thanksgiving. The lies. The stolen money. The bus ride. She listened quietly before saying something unexpected. "My parents told people I died." I stared at her. "Why?" "Because I'm gay," she answered softly. For the first time in years, I cried openly. On my 28th birthday, Jenna pointed toward Grandma Eleanor's wooden box sitting on my bookshelf. "You've carried that thing around forever," she laughed. "Open it already." So I finally did. Inside was Grandma Eleanor's pearl necklace, an old childhood photo of me missing my front teeth, and a handwritten letter. "Selena," it began, "if you're reading this, it means you found the courage to leave." Good. My hands trembled. "I wanted to leave too," she wrote. "But I was afraid. Don't spend your life protecting people who destroy you." Then I reached the final lines. The education fund was real. My lawyer handled everything. Ask Carol. She knows the truth. Suddenly, everything made sense. Grandma Eleanor never wanted me silent. My mother did. By year 6, Mason and Reed had expanded into a major company with over 100 employees. Margaret called me into her office one morning. "I want you to become Chief Operating Officer." The girl who once slept in a shelter was now helping run a successful company. I wasn't wealthy. I drove a used Honda. I rented a modest apartment. But I finally had peace. And peace felt priceless. A regional business magazine later interviewed me for an article about women in leadership. My picture. My title. My story. A cleaner version, anyway. The article went online in October. I never thought about Indiana again. Not once. Until March 2026. That's when Vanessa searched my name online. Not because she missed me. Because she needed money. Months earlier, Aunt Carol had secretly emailed me. She confessed the truth. Grandma Eleanor had left separate education accounts for both Vanessa and me. My mother forged my signature and transferred my share into Vanessa's account. The money no longer mattered. The betrayal did. Then Aunt Carol added one final sentence. "Your mother is running the Willow Creek Community Fundraiser this spring." At the time, I didn't realize why that mattered. Soon, I would. 2 months later, Margaret walked into my office smiling. "A church fundraiser in Indiana wants you as their keynote speaker." My chest tightened. What town? Willow Creek. I almost refused. Then I remembered Grandma Eleanor's letter. "I'll do it," I answered quietly. 2 weeks before the fundraiser, Vanessa discovered my LinkedIn profile, company articles, and conference photos. "Mom," she whispered over the phone, "Selena's a COO." Aunt Carol later told me my mother went completely silent. Not proud. Terrified. Because her 7-year lie was collapsing. The phone calls started that same night. 43 missed calls from Indiana. I listened to every voicemail alone in my office. Vanessa sounded fake at first. "Hey, Selena, call me back, okay?" My father sounded nervous. "We could really use your help." My mother sounded cold. "Family should help family." Tyler wanted money for a business idea. And Vanessa kept calling back repeatedly. By the final message, her voice cracked. "Please help me." There were those words again. Help me. Not, "we were wrong." Not, I'm sorry. Just help me. 7 years of silence. And the moment they finally contacted me, they wanted something. A few days later, my mother emailed my work account accusing me of abandoning the family. Vanessa sent me a LinkedIn message asking me to co-sign her mortgage loan. You owe us, she wrote. Tyler posted online. Funny how people forget family after getting successful. I screenshot everything. Not for revenge. For proof. March 15th. I flew back to Indiana. Willow Creek looked exactly the same. Same diner. Same church. Same old streets. 200 people filled the fundraiser hall. My badge read. Selena Carter, COO, Mason and Reed, keynote speaker. Across the room, I saw my family sitting together. They still had no idea. At 7:15 p.m., Pastor Michael stepped onto the stage. Our keynote speaker tonight grew up in a town just like ours, he announced. Please welcome Selena Carter. The crowd applauded. Then I walked onto the stage. My mother's face turned white. My father nearly dropped his drink. Vanessa looked frozen. Tyler stopped chewing mid-bite. And then something incredible happened. The entire room stood up. A standing ovation. 200 people applauding for the daughter they'd been told was broken. My mother stayed seated. I stepped toward the microphone calmly. Thank you, I said softly. It's been a long time. Nervous laughter spread across the room. I delivered my speech professionally at first, community programs, rebuilding neighborhoods, leadership. Then near the end, I shifted directions. I grew up in a town like this, I said quietly. Some of you may remember me. The room fell silent. I left 7 years ago with $200 and one suitcase. I didn't leave because I wanted to. I left because staying was destroying me. Nobody moved. I was told I needed help. But the truth is, the help I needed was distance. I never once looked at my mother. I didn't need to. This work taught me something important, I continued. Real communities see people for who they truly are, not for the stories told about them. Whispers spread instantly. Wait. Diane's daughter? She said Selena was in rehab. She's a COO? When I finished, the applause lasted even longer than before. Afterward, people surrounded me. Old teachers. Neighbors. Church members. Some hugged me. Others looked ashamed. Then my mother pushed through the crowd smiling painfully. Selena, sweetheart, she said loudly. What a surprise. She opened her arms for a hug. I didn't move. You had my number for 7 years, I replied calmly. Her smile twitched. You embarrassed this family tonight. I never mentioned anyone by name. Vanessa stepped closer. We need to discuss family matters. I heard all 43 voicemails, I answered. Not one apology. Just help me. My father finally spoke. Selena, let's not do this here. Dad, I said quietly, you already had 7 years. Tyler crossed his arms angrily. You think you're better than us now? No, I answered calmly. I think I'm done being less than what you needed me to be. Then I walked away. No screaming. No scene. Just peace. That night, sitting inside my rental car, I realized something important. For the first time in my life, I no longer needed their approval.